Oh, hi all. Welcome back to the John Deere B tractor restoration. And there we are with that cylinder head that we fitted in the last video. I've now added the two rocker arm studs, and I've also installed the push rods. Pretty simple stuff. I Loctite these in. Don't know if you need to. They don't go into a water jacket. The holes that these go into is a bottomed hole. With the push rods, I just make sure there's plenty of oil on them, full length, and make sure the business end, i.e. the point at the end of the rod, has got oil on it as well. The final torque to those head nuts for me was 100 foot-pounds. Interestingly, in the book, it talks in the workshop manual, it talks of 96 pounds on plain steel looking studs, and 115 on blackened studs. I suspect it all has to do with how they've been heat treated. But I thought £100 is about, these are blackened studs on this one, but I thought £100 about right. Old nuts and bolts, you know, get stretched many times, so that's where we are with that one. So I'm quite happy with that. So over here on the bench, I thought I'd take you through the assembly of the rocker arm shaft and rocker arms. So I'm going to just snap you into this Duralali here. There we go. So make sure you can see what we're doing. So here we have the I'm just concerned she's going to fall over. There we go. So here we have the rocker arms all cleaned up. The rocker shaft pedestals, two of them, rocker shaft, spring, and the oil pipe that feeds off that centre oil feed, and with holes in that feed the back of these rockers. I don't know if you can see that hole, it squirts oil down into there, onto that bushing. Now for some reason John Deere, I don't know why, they only drill the two outer holes. Now on the last two heads I've had to bits, I've actually, three heads sorry, I've actually put the other two holes in. Doesn't seem to have affected the tractor at all, and it helps lubricate them centre to rockers, which I suspect John Deere probably thought misting lubrication was good enough. But interestingly enough, the last one I did, both had damaged bushes in the middle two holes which weren't lubricated. So I've done that, I've drilled them extra two holes. Whether it's right or wrong I don't know, don't care really. So first job to do is start assembly. So take your shaft, make sure you've got your split pin on one end, you've got a washer there. So just put in some oil, plenty of oil, you don't want it starting up dry. And take your rocker, put her on, like that. And then the next thing you take is the pedestal. Make sure that if your rockers are going to be pointing that way, that the open side of this pedestal is pointing that way. So just slot that on there, like that. More oil on the rocker shaft. There we go, that one on there. Washer, spring. I just put a bit of oil on that spring. Yeah, it's not that critical, but I just like things. Just stops them going rusty if for some reason you're not haven't getting it started straight away. Another washer with oil. rocker arm, like that. Again, pedestal, and there, and then with the rocker arm. Now this one's going to be a little bit awkward because we've got to push it down. A bit of oil on now. Rocker arm on there. Washer. And then finally that final split pin in so. So there you have it. Like that. I'm just going to get something to open that split pin up with. So I just get a screwdriver, stab it in my hand. No, we won't do that. Try not to anyway. So, yeah, just see if we can't just bend that. A pair of pliers on the back of it. Dear me, tough little split pin this one. See what, we'll do it the other way around. There we go. It's not going to come out with that. So there we are. There we go. There's a rocker shaft assembly built up, ready to go. So we'll go over to the tractor. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to set it up again like we had it the other night. Ooh, sorry about that. Don't get dizzy. There we are. Just put that like that. Try and keep my head out of the picture this time. I noticed my head was in the picture a lot last time. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of oil in all those. Not a lot. A little bit. Like that. And fiddle this onto here. There we go. The nuts on. One thing I find with these old split washers, sometimes you do find that these these things weren't made very well in the day, and you do find a lot that those split washers have a tendency to break. Unfortunately, so it's always worth having some split washers on hand. These two were alright, thankfully. Just quietly tighten that down. Take it down evenly on each pillar. Check that everything's going down. Obviously, the tappets will be to set up. We'll do that at a later stage before the rocker cover goes on. Nice and snug. They are easily broken, these studs. Again, speak with experience. Then we have a valve there opening. That's it. So yeah. One thing is worth doing. Make sure that the end of the rocker shaft, rocker arm, lines up reasonably well with the top of the valve. Sometimes they aren't, and you've got to do a little bit of fiddling with washers in here just to get them one way or the other. But generally, they don't. They're usually all right. So those ones are fine. So yep, that's that. So now we get the oil feed pipe. Ah, ha 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 ha.